Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and today we've got a brand new blog which focuses around SKULLTAKER, all the legendary heroes, the roster, and also the Khorne Rework. There's actually quite a few things to talk about here, including some details of what happens with these new Khorne units and who exactly gets access to them. There will be obviously timestamps in the description below, so yeah, let's jump right in. So let's start off with SKULLTAKER. This is your legendary lord. SKULLTAKER embodies Khorne's unyielding fury, taking immense pride in his martial abilities and viewing himself as an unstoppable force. His existence revolves around combat, never refusing a challenge and always eager to prove his superiority over others. Arrogant and bloodthirsty, he only respects those who dare to face him in battle. Weaker enemies are swiftly dispatched, their skulls claimed without honor. His true glory lies in defeating powerful foes, cementing his reputation as a fearsome champion of Khorne's ideals of strength, dominance, and unrelenting warfare. Here's a quick look at what the SKULLTAKER offers in battle and campaign. Okay, so battle playstyle. Few ascend to the exalted position of Khorne's champion, and those who do are assured to be lethal in every regard. A force of demonic destruction, SKULLTAKER excels at hunting down and dueling enemy lords before cleaving through ranks of troops with his two-handed Slayer's sword. His abilities include the Slayer's sword, active augment. SKULLTAKER's flaming demonic sword applies the dazed effect, reducing the target's weapon strength and armor piercing, while boosting his armor piercing and base weapon damage. Okay, pretty good. I'm assuming that will be when you pick up the item, and that's going to be usually around, what, level 7 or so? Same thing with the Cloak of Skulls, which is a passive augment. Imbued with Khorne's might, SKULLTAKER's cloak greatly boosts his ward save and spell resistance. Okay, I mean, that's kind of expected. He's a demon after all. No mention of the mount, by the way, which is weird, because the key art does kind of show it, so maybe they forgot here. I've had a quick skim, and some stuff doesn't mention mounts whatsoever. It mentions a mount, but not what exactly it can mount. Finally, Bloody Onslaught, active ability. SKULLTAKER gains increased armor-piercing melee damage and the immune to flanking attribute. I mean, yeah, makes sense for a duelist and so on. Yeah, it's not too bad. We also have access to the campaign mechanic over here, which is the Cloak of Skulls. Don't worry, I've got a better image coming up in just a second, but first let's talk about the details. SKULLTAKER's gameplay loop revolves around seeking out the strongest opponents, defeating them in brutal combat, and claiming their skulls as trophies. With each victory he grows stronger, continually enhancing his prowess to take on even more powerful foes. At the onset of a campaign, players will see that all foreign lords on the map are marked with a Champion's Essence resource above them. To collect this rare resource, SKULLTAKER must defeat these powerful enemies in battle. Once claimed, this resource enhances the abilities of his Cloak of Skulls, which features multiple skulls at various levels. Players can apply Champion's Essence to unlock more bonuses or upgrade existing ones, granting SKULLTAKER powerful new abilities and traits that greatly increase his strength and dominance in battle. Yeah, I mean, this sounds pretty interesting. It's a character hunting mechanic. We've seen stuff like this, not exactly the same, but, you know, the similar mindset. So, yeah, it should be cool. I mean, it makes perfect sense with his lore. This is SKULLTAKER, that's what he does. Alright, so we do have some details here because we can see it in much better quality. And what we can see, for example, is you get quite a lot of different skulls, and each of the levels seem to be different. Like, for example, the one on the far left that we do have there enables the ability to travel to enemy. So it's going to be kind of like a teleport mechanic, I guess, like Oxyotl. It can be made cheaper, though, and you can also reduce the cooldown. That's pretty good. And you get a lot of effects there. Right now, on the active effects on the right, and these aren't even all active. Yeah, dude, this is going to be really interesting. Especially there, you know, replenishes 20% campaign movement range after defeating a lord. This is obviously for SKULLTAKER. But, yeah, I mean, Khorne already has quite a lot of that. We do know there's a rework, so some stuff might have changed. But this should be really, really good. Yeah, I like the idea. Everything looks nice. It's a themed mechanic. Very Tower of Tsar, I guess. But obviously just focusing on skulls. And you're only using it for yourself, you're not fighting other factions for it too. Alright, time to talk about SCYLA ANFINGRIMM. This is one of your legendary heroes coming into the game. So SCYLA was once a fierce Norscan warrior known for his bloodthirsty raids and relentless victories. Khorne granted him powerful gifts, but this overwhelming might eventually transformed him into a Chaos Spawn. Though still favoured by Khorne, he has become a mindless beast, treated like a prized hound by his tribe rather than a respected lord. His aggressive and brutal nature makes him a formidable combatant, embodying the savage bloodlust of Khorne. Just a quick note here, he's not actually a completely savage beast, he can actually talk and so on. I don't know if he can in game, but he can in lore. It's one of those very rare circumstances where it's a semi-intelligent Chaos Spawn. It's very grey area though. Let's continue. Now more beast than man, SKYLA's instincts are dominated by chaos. Driven by primal urges, he kills in the name of Khorne, becoming a terrifying presence on the battlefield. In the heat of combat, he embodies his dark god's desires, to kill for Khorne. His playstyle primarily focuses on disrupting formations, making him especially effective against small entities. So we've got his abilities here. Kill for Khorne, explosion. Mindless and savage, SKYLA produces an explosion from his body, causing severe disruption and sending nearby enemies into a rampage. Okay, yeah, I mean that makes sense. I'm not a keen person with regards to rampage, but that's like been in the game since for a long time. Serpentine Tail, passive AoE Hex. Whipping his huge tail, he inflicts direct damage in a radius around him. Okay, yeah, I mean, those are always kind of cool, and to be honest, I don't think Khorne has much of that, so always general damage is going to be good. Brass Collar of Khorne, passive augment. Imbued with his master's hatred of magic, SKYLA's Brass Collar grants him enhanced ward save and magical resistance based on the number of kills he achieves. So the more that you kill, the more ward saves and the better resistance. Yeah, that's great. That's at the end of the day something that you expect. Crimson Juggernaut, active ability. A nigh unstoppable force, SKYLA gains increased speed, and charge bonus, all whilst gaining Glorious Charge attribute. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, he's going to be fast, right? He's a monkey. What's really funny is when we talk about the Blood Beasts, I've had a quick gander there. It's like, oh, we don't know if they're demon or not in the lore perspective. It's like, well, they're not. They're Spawn. SKYLA is one of them, but okay. It happens. I guess it's being weird with Games Workshop writing, and that's always an issue. Alright, now time for SKARR BLOODWRATH. This is your second legendary hero. Personally, I think he should be a lord, but that ship has sailed. As a Chaos Warrior devoted to Khorne, SKARR is a skilled and brutal combatant, known for his savage and bloodthirsty nature. He dispatches his enemies with alarming ease, even resorting to ripping out throats with his teeth. He's probably watched The Walking Dead too much. He has endured gruesome conditioning, and with each death and resurrection by Khorne, he loses fragments of his sanity and personality, a fate he has faced many times. SKARR's reckless bravery was evident from a young age, when he challenged and killed his tribe's chieftain, who was twice his size. He dismisses those in the south as weak, and instead seeks tougher foes in the north. Warriors are drawn to him not for his charisma or leadership skills, but because he is the strongest warrior, leading by example in the chaos of battle. Okay, I'm going to say it one more time, why he should be a lord. It's even mentioned here, you know, he killed his tribe's chieftain, he took over. It's there, but I guess maybe Games Workshop said no, or maybe Creative Assembly have a different vision in mind. He specializes in anti-infantry and armor piercing, making him highly effective at cutting down high-tiered armored infantry with ease. His abilities include Bloodthirst, passive ability. The more murderous SKARR is in battle, the more he heals, allowing him to continue the slaughter in Khorne's name. Oh, I hope this means that the camp for healing basically goes away the more that you make him active, because that's kind of how he should be, like just completely, as long as he's alive, regenerating and doing loads and loads of damage. Oh, this is interesting. Bloodborne, passive ability. When SKARR's health drops low, he receives a burst of health, the quantity of which is directly tied to his Bloodthirst ability, and the number of units he has previously killed. Ooh, honestly, that's pretty cool. Alright, let's carry on. Scaramore's Butcher, passive ability. Ever keen to strengthen his bloodthirsty herd by culling the weak, he provides nearby troops with a passive bonus that grants nearby friendlies increased weapon strength and armor sundering. Dude, he's sounding pretty damn cool, isn't he? Inevitable Horror, active ability. Reduces leadership and increases the fatigue of enemies around him, making them easier for SKARR and his minions to finish off and break. Yeah. He's sounding super cool. And then Bloodstorm Blades, active ability. His unique archaic weaponry grants him significant damage and anti-infantry bonuses for a short duration. See, some people might be going, oh, Khorne, it's not very interesting and so on, but then you hear this, right? A character which is geared to kill. This is gonna be amazing, dude. Okay, so now we're going into the generics. We've got the BLOODSPEAKER here. I love the design. It's actually kind of based on, if you guys remember the old Warshrine model, well, it's actually moved to Age of Sigmar, but it's getting removed. It looks like the guy that's usually mounted on that. So it's really, really cool. I love the design. It's super, super awesome. But let's go into like the details and so on. So, cruel instigators, the BLOODSPEAKERs, drive others to extreme efforts in their quest to become more Khorne-worthy. They're priests and zealots who drive those around them to acts of frenzied worship, promising glory, demanding obedience, and threatening punishment for weakness or failure. These evangelists of Khorne are fiercely loyal, worshipping him with religious zeal. As skilled marauders or chaos warriors, they are savage and bloodthirsty in battle, relentless in their devotion to combat, never allowing rest or respite in their service to Khorne. They excel at enhancing the units around them with buffs, and when mounted, they gain added mobility to support and boost their allies more effectively. It doesn't say what mount though. So it's a buffer lord. I mean, we all kind of expected that at this point. This is going to be quite interesting to see how they perform. I'm expecting them to do well in combat too, so who knows? Maybe at this point some people might not see the need to get like a Chaos Lord of Khorne, or you'll just have something very, very different. Yeah, it would just be nice to know the mounts. I mean, at this point we can expect maybe a War Shrine, because the model kind of represents that, seriously. And maybe a horse. I hope they get a Juggernauts. Juggernauts would be nice. I've been favoring the God Touch mounts a lot more, so maybe that's just me though. Alright, Blood Beasts. I am still kind of getting used to the new design. It does look really cool though, I must admit. It's just, I'm so used to the old one. But let's continue. Among Khorne's cursed followers, these creatures stand out as both the most brutal and mysterious. Their true nature remains unclear. Whether they are demons or mortals is unknown. Resembling massive, ape-like monsters, they excel in powerful charges and dealing devastating armor-piercing damage. Their sheer size and ferocity grant them stronger armor-piercing melee capabilities, while their monstrous presence instills fear in their enemies. Marked by Khorne, they get all the benefits from the Mark of Khorne, further enhancing their distractive abilities and the power. Okay, yep, that's fine. I want to know how fast they are. I'm expecting them to be as fast as Rat Ogres, to be honest, because it does look like we did look at the original image that they posted. It does look like they're going to have very similar animations to Rat Ogres. So if they're quick and they're faster than Chaos Spawn, I imagine these are going to overtake the Chaos Spawn quite heavily. Alright, the Slaughterbrute, and it has cake apparently. The Slaughterbrute is a towering chaos beast, overflowing with muscle and aggression. Those who attempt to control these savage creatures with ordinary methods often meet a grisly fate, as the Slaughterbrute will tear apart anyone who tries to break its will. Only through sorcery can its mind be enslaved, bound to a Chaos Champion. As a unit, the Slaughterbrute's immense size and alignment with Khorne enhance its power, making it deadly in melee combat with its high armor-piercing damage. Its scaly skin provides resistance to missile attacks, while its presence on the battlefield induces terror to its enemies. Such a monstrous entity is unbreakable whilst in the presence of an alive lord, but should they fall in battle, they will rampage and can rout. This is... Have we ever had units that are unbreakable only for a certain amount of time like that? Not like an active buff and so on. That's really curious. I mean, it makes sense. One thing that I do want to correct here is that a Slaughterbrute is technically an undivided monster, same thing as the Mutilith Vortex Beast. They're kind of associated with a specific god, but they're not really. I mean, it makes sense that they're adding it here because it's very cornate, but you know what I mean, right? Overall, I mean, it sounds pretty damn beastie. The art is awesome. CA's artists have always been really good at this type of stuff, though. Going into the KHORNGORS now, and yeah, very classic design on them. These units play an aggressive, hard-hitting role on the battlefield, marked by Khorne to receive a variety of combat enhancements. As they take damage, a special ability activates, making them temporarily unbreakable. Nice! Equipped with two-handed weapons, that's a shame. I was hoping for them to be... I mean, we already knew that they had anti-large, but I was really hoping to get like an additional hand weapon version. They excel at delivering armor-piercing melee attacks. Additionally, their Vanguard deployment allows them to be positioned outside their usual deployment zone, giving them a tactical edge in battle. I mean, yep, perfect. Would have been nice to get two variants, I think. I mean, yeah, the great weapon thing is the old model. It's just... It would have been nice, but I guess maybe Games Workshop might have said no. I do feel like they have a lot more in say with the content than most people think. Wrathmongers now, and they look really, really good. It's super weird to see the blue on them, though. Very, very strange. But, nah, come on. These are an iconic unit from the end times. A lot of people love them. Hell, even, like, fantasy fan editions would somehow bring them in. So, yeah. What's not to love about Demonkin, right? So, these Chaos Warriors are fierce and skilled fighters, fueled by their devotion to Khorne. Their savage bloodlust makes them brutal in battle, and they hold disdain for anyone they see as weaker. Their madness only deepens after surviving a night against demons. Equipped with paired wrath flails, chains with axes, they deal devastating splash and armor-piercing damage. Infused with demon power, their attacks are both powerful and unique, tearing through enemies with ease. Okay, so if you're wondering what the weapons are going to be like, kinda just use the Dwarf Doomseekers, but give them a lot more damage and obviously a lot more armor, because these guys actually wear armor. And I'm expecting some sort of physical resistance, considering that they're almost at the cusp of being demons. These are demonkin. But yeah, dude, I can't wait. I'm so happy that we're finally getting like proper unique end time stuff. You have no idea. And lastly, the Skull Reapers. It's a bit sad it's only one variant, especially as I believe in the tabletop they had 3 different types. Because I believe they could take additional hand weapons. They had the Great Weapon, and you could also have them with the kind of shield, but not really shield. But hey, you never know for the future. The model's done, all they need to do is other animations. But Skull Reapers are massive, elite Chaos Warriors, clad in heavy, half-plate Chaos armor, and gifted with mutations that amplify their combat abilities. Each Skull Reaper is as powerful as a Chaos Champion. Only the Wrathmongers outrank them in strength and status. They are cost-effective. What? I'm expecting these to be quite expensive. Anti-infantry units similar to Chaos Warriors of Khorne, but with less armor and dual-wielding weapons. Did they not make them stronger? This is weird. They should be stronger than Chosen. Some weird balancing is coming here, because they should be, like, higher than Chosen. These guys are, again, very mutated. I wouldn't sound the alarm just yet, though, mostly because the blogs are never really perfect when it comes to explaining a troop. We've seen that many times before, so wait until you see them actually in action before anything happens, right? Okay, so this is where things get a little bit interesting. Where does each unit go in terms of other factions? Skull Reapers, Wrathmongers, Bloodspeakers, and Skull Bloodwrath are units and characters that follow the most devoted to Khorne, rather than undivided of Chaos. Therefore, Skarbrand, SKULLTAKER, Arbal, Valkyr, and the Demon Prince, once fully aligned to Khorne, will have access to Skull Reapers, Wrathmongers, and Skull Bloodwrath. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Skarbrand, SKULLTAKER, Arbal, and Valkyr will have access to the Bloodspeaker, but the Demon Prince will not have access to any Mortal Lords. Again, makes sense, as the Demon Prince is Demons of Chaos, not, you know, mishmash, monogod, central. And then, finally, Archaon doesn't have access to these units yet, but this is something we want to address in a future update. Okay, yeah, makes sense for the Everchosen to be able to lead them. I would argue that Kholek should be able to too, considering that it's Kholek and people would generally follow him. But yeah, it makes sense that Sigvald wouldn't, because even though he's got access to all the Undivided stuff, even the other monogod rosters, he is firmly with Sinesh there. Get it? Firmly? Haha. Yeah, there's no mention of the KHORNGORS if they're able to be used by the Beastmen, but I'm assuming so that shouldn't really be a panic there. I like the idea of the end time stuff being hard-locked to like specific characters and specific factions. It does make sense. This is going to be obvious by the next time that Nurgle gets a DLC with the, you know, Blight Kings and Glotkin and stuff like that, right? Because it's kind of expected now. Blight Kings are expected. We're done with the roster, but now we're looking towards the Khorne Legacy updates, essentially a rework. So there's a bit of information here. Before we wrap up, there's an important point we'd like to address. We received extensive feedback from our previous DLC, particularly regarding updates to Legacy races. And here's what we've developed to enhance Khorne, which will be included in the upcoming update alongside this DLC. So yeah, this will be update 6.0. They've not really talked about the stuff about legacy races and so on, but yeah. So, Skull Throne. You can now purchase rewards using skulls, with the amount you spend unlocking high tiers of rewards. This creates a progression loop that transforms what was once a single button into a dynamic feature, offering varied benefits such as bonuses to armies, growth, control, corruption stats, and more. Recognizing that the previous version of the Skull Throne lacked choices for players, we set out to enhance its usefulness and value. As a result, there are now 10 unique Skull Throne actions available, allowing players to unlock high-tier actions by spending their skulls within the Skull Throne. And there's a developer note here. We're still adding the final touches to this, so please consider it fully work in progress. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, that's cool. To be honest, I wasn't expecting that much of reworks coming into effect for like the Game 3 races, barring, Ogres, which were kind of screwed at the launch. So it's nice to see something come in for Khorne. Obviously, Nurgle did get a bit of a fix, but not something so drastic, because there's a lot of fixes coming down here. And, I mean, Tzeentch got nothing, so, hopefully they'll get something in the future. I must admit, it does look quite nice. It's always nice to see a big update coming into play like this, especially since Khorne was very one-track minded. You ended up getting so many skulls and nothing to use it for, so benefits and bonuses coming in, that's great. I love this. Well, I don't know if I love this or not until I get to play with it, but you know what I mean. The more quality of life updates for races and factions, the better this game is going to get. Unholy manifestations are getting updated, so wielding the power of the gods should feel more useful. So we've taken some steps to improve their reward, as well as giving the UI a good old tidy up. Nice, okay. Eternal War, base rewards, spawns an army to fight at source. Upgraded rewards, spawns an army to fight at force, and campaign movement range after battle plus 25%. Dude, that's great, yes! Especially early on for Skarbrand with the Badlands, he gets screwed over. So yeah, that's going to be good. I mean, we don't know how early they'll be able to upgrade them, but still, that's nice. Khorne's Glare. Base rewards, take control of Unoccupied Ruin. Sweet. Upgraded rewards, take control of Unoccupied Ruin, and Occupied Ruin will be a Tier 2 settlement. Oh, great! Yeah, no, this is pretty damn good. This is looking so much better. Slaughter Incarnate. Base rewards, character experience gain, plus 150% for 3 turns. Pretty good if you're going to be constantly moving. And upgraded is going to be 300%. So far, so good. Again, once again, 3 turns. And Call of Battle. Target settlement will be raised. Upgraded will be target settlement will be raised. Target settlement province will become fully Khorne corrupted. That's pretty good, actually. I mean, the Khorne corruption stuff, corruption does definitely need a rework, let's be very honest there. But that sounds good. That sounds good. That's going to be better for overall bonuses that you get for your own god-specific corruption. Yeah, this is sounding pretty damn good. Alright, economy now. Our goal was to improve the clarity of the current Khorne sacking and post-battle loot economy. Now only recruitment buildings, landmarks, and resource buildings generate passive income. Khorne's primary economic infrastructure focuses on increasing the global amounts gained from sacking, looting, and post-battle loot. Okay, army upkeep is now much easier to manage. Oh, okay, if they're getting reduction, that was going to be my complaint there, but if they're going to get a reduction, that's going to be good. By increasing your bloodletting level or constructing upkeep reduction buildings, it has become simpler for the sack and loot economy to thrive, even during turns of downtime between battles. This includes blood hosts, which no longer incur upkeep costs. Additionally, recruitment costs have been reduced to better align with the value of the units. The recruitment cost of units is set at twice their value. Okay. One of the biggest issues that happened with the Khorne units, and I think it's a big reason why people weren't liking Khorne too much, is that the units were too expensive, so you're mostly stuck with Marauders for a long time. Again, if Champions of Chaos didn't exist, we'd be screwed. But this is good. This is definitely something that I'm quite keen on. I'm looking forward to trying out Skarbrand again, alongside playing with our other legendary lords now, because we have 3 with Khorne, which is super, super cool. Let's continue. Alright, so Blood Hosts now. We found that the current gameplay loop for Khorne felt too one-dimensional, primarily centered on spawning infinite Blood Hosts without rewarding players for developing their own forces. To address this, Blood Hosts now require skulls to spawn when raising settlements, and they no longer incur upkeep costs. This change encourages players to focus on recruiting a wide variety of forces beyond just Blood Hosts. That's fine, because at the end of the day, yeah, you weren't. I saw a lot of people. I watch people stream whilst I'm painting, and a lot of people were just going with Blood Hosts. If this makes you get more armies, that's great. Bloodletting. Bloodletting is currently essential to every aspect of Khorne's faction, which we felt was not very intuitive and posed significant risks as a loss of momentum could disrupt your entire empire. In order to mitigate this, Bloodletting rewards are now specifically tied to the forces they're attached to, allowing for more targeted benefits. These effects focus on maintaining momentum by providing bonuses for casualty replenishment, upkeep, and recruitment. Additionally, we've adjusted the thresholds for Bloodletting to make it easier to build momentum with new forces. Okay, so I'm assuming it's going to be kinda like the original Greenskin momentum? Well, not fully, but you know what I mean? That could be kinda cool, actually. We'll have to wait and see, but it does sound like it's going to be a bit better. Let's go into buildings. While adjusting the economy for Khorne, we made several changes to the effects of standard buildings, recruitment, and resources. New infrastructure building effects have been introduced, with the recruitment of demonic or mortal units now tied to the type of settlement. Mortal recruitment chains can only be built in settlements with the mortal settlement chain, while demonic units are restricted to the demonic settlements. Okay. I mean, the Khorne roster itself is quite large. Most of the monogod rosters are, so they're trying to divide it so you have a reason to do two different types of playthroughs. It's only for Khorne at the moment, I imagine, though, so we might see that in the future. Well, not for Nurgle, they've got their own unique style too. But yeah, let's continue. Also, all resources now feature a unique set of effects, moving away from the previous standard of same skulls and income effects. Okay, good. Some effects would be nice. At the end of the day, every other faction gets effects, but Khorne didn't, so it's nice to see this. Demonic Reforging. We've recognized that demonic units were not aligning with their lore-inspired resilience, often making mortals the preferred choice. To address this, we've introduced a new feature for all demonic factions, Demonic Reforging. Now, all demon units have a chance to be reforged after dying in battle, as they can never truly be killed outside the realms of chaos. By default, the chance for demons to return after battle is quite low. However, this probability is influenced by various factors such as technologies, skills, and most importantly, the corruption level of the province where the battle occurred. These factors will also affect the amount of health a demonic unit returns after battle. Okay, so this is a more detailed version of, say, for example, the vampire counts, right? Where you kill vampire count units, the battle's done, and sometimes they can come back, the dead rise again. So it looks like it's going to be that. My cat wants attention. And we're back with the cat. But yeah, okay. I mean, this sounds pretty interesting. I do worry, though, because if you remember a while back in Warhammer 2 and Warhammer 3, there were issues with way too much coming back alongside, you know, the general spawnings and so on, which obviously these guys don't get. But, I'm looking forward to see how this goes. And the biggest change here is technology. Oh my god, they fixed the technology tree. This is good. The Khorne one was freaking ass. I'm just gonna, like, outright say it. It was horrible. So it looks like we are seeing two different trees taking advantage of the new stuff that's come into effect with the Chaos Dwarfs. And yeah, we have some information. Let's talk about it, right? So the first one is Pillars. Sequences of technologies that provide campaign-focused bonuses. Each tier requires a certain number of battle victories to unlock. The bonuses are similar to the old technology tree, with some tweaks and new additions here and there. Technologies that focus on improving blood hosts are grouped together in their own pillars for improved clarity. And the Armory section, technologies that provide battle-focused bonuses. Each group provides bonuses to specific types of units, and most effects are new. So that means, well, one would focus on cavalry, demons, and then cavalry mortals, melee mortals, stuff like that. I guess like how Nurgle does it now, actually. Which would be quite good. This makes me really happy, actually, because this system has been introduced with Nurgle, it's getting refined with Khorne, so if the next DLC ends up being the Sinesh DLC that I've been waiting a long time for, we're up for a good time. They seem like they're going to be quite large, because you do actually have some scrollers, though. But I guess that makes sense. At the end of the day, they need to make sure that everything is covered. I am quite keen, though. I am actually quite keen. I wonder how far it goes, because some of them can lie a little bit. The idea of unlocking as you start doing battles is great too. It's obviously very themed. But yeah, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. No complaints. And lastly, this is actually a really big block, I wasn't expecting it to be so large, we have Reoccupation Immunity. While playing as Khorne, we noticed that the AI would often occupy recently raised regions, blocking Khorne's intended expansion into these areas. To solve this, we've introduced a Reoccupation Immunity for regions raised by Khornate factions. Now, once a Khornate faction raises a region, it cannot be recolonized by any faction, including Khorne, for 3 turns, providing a grace period for Khornate factions to naturally expand into these areas. Oh, using your mechanic to spread. Okay, yeah, that's not too bad. In creating this new state for raised regions, we also revisited the Beastmen faction to improve clarity around blocked regions. Okay, so ruins that are currently blocked from colonization now display a distinct flaming icon instead of a regular ruin icon. Okay, I thought they were going to change up some stuff, but okay. Making them easier to identify. Yeah, that works. It's not like you're going to see much with the Beastmen because only the player and I think the playable legendary Lord Beastmen are the ones that actually do headstones. The normal ones don't. As far as I remember. I know there's a mod that allows them to do that, but not too sure if that's a vanilla thing again anymore. I don't think so. But yeah, I mean, that looks cool. That generally looks cool. Again, a benefit which would be for Skarbrand and pretty much every other Khornate faction that's going to pop up. Yeah, I like the idea of this. It should help. Remember, it's still RNG focused, so it might not take 3 turns and then it could just get colonized by someone else. So next week, they're moving on to the Ogres too. So there's quite a lot to talk about. Really, I'm impressed with the Khorne stuff. I mean, the units we've known for a while. I mean, like, yeah, they've been kind of in the open, barring like 1 or 2 since the announcement. The legacy updates, or basically the rework, sounds pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here, especially as, you know, Khorne kind of felt behind. Sometimes you'd see Skarbrand expand throughout the world, but in most cases he'd just die out very quickly. Wurzag was a big factor in that, and even then, like, he's not that far off. And yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes. It does look like the reworks are going to be getting bigger and bigger. I still think that Khorne was technically fine, barring a few things, so it's nice to see a massive quality of life change. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Start a bit of a discussion. It is nice. I can't wait to see what they've got for the greenskins and for the ogres. That's definitely something that I'm kind of excited about. But yeah, have a great day, guys. I'll see you all again very, very soon.